So Jynxzi just recently completed his Elden Ring marathon after putting in like 12-hour shifts on the game for a week straight. Now, I don't usually watch Jynxzi, but I have seen a lot of his clips of his playthrough on TikTok, and while looking at the comments section on some of these posts, I've just been reminded of how toxic the Elden Ring fanbase can be. I mean, some of these comments are pretty bad. They irritated me enough to make this video, and it wasn't even my playthrough. So after a thorough analysis of the TikTok comments, I've seen two common themes. People are either mad about how he played the game, or they're just making fun of him for being bad at the game. Like, I guarantee you, if you look at any comment section of a post where Jynxzi is fighting a boss, you will see comments saying that that boss is actually the easiest boss in the entire game. For instance, I saw a TikTok where Jynxzi was fighting Placidusax, and somebody said that that was the easiest dragon in the whole game. Now, realistically, a lot of those type of comments are just rage bait, especially since we're considering this is Jynxzi's community. I swear most of the people that watch Jynxzi just hate the dude.
A hot drop that.
Bro coughed like an iPad kid. Alright.
But whenever we start looking at the specific criticisms that people have with Jynxzi's playthrough, we start getting into that Elden Ring elitism that just drives me up a wall. Now, for those who don't know, there's a section of the Elden Ring fanbase that believes using certain weapons, items, and even entire builds is an invalid way of playing the game because it detracts from the difficulty of the game. These guys don't like bleed builds, they don't like summons, and they definitely don't like magic. To be honest, I don't really know what they do like. I guess they probably just run like a normal strength build. Most things are off limits to these guys. Now, the thing is, these aren't just preferences they have for their own playthroughs. They like to apply it to other people's gameplay to, I guess, like dismiss their achievements, which is exactly what I've seen being done to Jynxzi. A major point of contention that I've seen is Jynxzi's build. He ran an intelligence build centered around using the Moonveil Katana's Asha War, and the way I've seen some people talk about this, you think Jynxzi was running Prime Comet Azure. Pretty much any clip I saw where Jynxzi defeated a boss, someone would complain that he was just spamming L2, which, I mean, of course he's going to be doing that. His whole build is centered around doing it. I get it's kind of boring, but that's how I wanted to play the game. But honestly, I don't know what people were expecting. It's the man's first Souls game. He's not going to use the Torch Bowl to beat the game. I mean, let's be real. Are you going to sit there and tell me you didn't use the Bloodhound's Fang on your first playthrough? But the thing is, it's not like Jynxzi was melting through these bosses. He would still spend hours fighting some of these guys. Like, I think it took him 5 hours to beat Godfrey. He still experienced what I think the best part of Elden Ring is, which is this slow shift from a boss being this insurmountable obstacle to you slowly learning when to dodge, when to punish, and eventually defeating them.
Tarnished, thy strength befits a crown.
But he used the Moonveil Katana, so none of that counts. Now, the strange thing is, there was a lot of people complaining that his build is bad. I guess he wasn't really using talismans and didn't use armor for a while, which are pretty crazy moves for a first playthrough. But I find it ironic that the same people that restrict themselves to make the game harder get mad when Jynxzi does the exact same thing. I think it goes to show there was no universe where Jynxzi wasn't going to catch some flack for his playthrough, unless he was piecing up all the bosses with like an unupgraded club or something. So what actually makes these elite concern themselves with how someone else is playing this game? Well, there's really no clear answer, but I do have a theory. Soulsborne games have always been notorious for their unforgiving difficulty, which simultaneously kept them from becoming mainstream titles and bred a niche community of fans that relished in that difficulty. Now, don't get me wrong, these games have always been successful and critically acclaimed, but they never appealed to general audiences. That was until Elden Ring released and thrust the Soulsborne franchise into the public eye. I mean, this game was everywhere at launch. I remember going to school and just hearing everybody talk about this game. It was kind of like when Fortnite would drop a new season back in the day, but not exactly at the same level. Elden Ring introduced a ton of new people to the Soulsborne genre, including me and all of my friends. Now, the thing is, Elden Ring is different from the other Souls games. The other games would have open areas for you to explore, but they would still guide you on a linear path. But FromSoft flipped the script by making Elden Ring an open world game, which consequently shook up the Soulsborne formula. In the past, when you encountered a very challenging boss, you were forced to keep banging your head against the wall until you finally, as the Souls community would say, got good. But Elden Ring gives the player so many more tools at their disposal. Someone struggling with the boss could just explore, find better items, and come back stronger. That's why many people regard Elden Ring as the easiest Souls game, despite having some of the hardest bosses in the entire series. So we have a clear divide between the old and new players. That old school get good mindset is now optional instead of a requirement. So when people like Jynxzi, who don't typically play these type of games and aren't really locked into the whole get good culture, are still able to beat Elden Ring, I think some people feel that his success cheapens their own. To the elitists, if this guy can beat Elden Ring, then maybe Elden Ring isn't this insurmountable challenge that they originally thought. So how do they fix this? They move the goalpost. They pull out this rulebook that says you can't use X, Y, and Z. And since you beat the game using those items, you didn't truly experience the game the way it was intended, despite the fact that things you used are included in the game. I think Queso pretty much summed it up perfectly.
Bro, the UK never makes the Souls community happy, bro, because if you summon, they hate you. If you do anything, they hate you. It's ridiculous. It's in the game for a reason.
But here's the truth. Elden Ring is a massive RPG that allows probably the most build variety out of all of the Souls games. So to subscribe to this idea that out of all the crazy builds people can make, everyone should work within this small window of builds or they're playing the game wrong is just silly. At the end of the day, this is a PvE game. The only true way to play it wrong is by not having fun. So if you want to make a Moonveil Katana build, go for it. If you want to do a bleed build, do it. And if you want to challenge yourself with restrictions, great. But just remember, what you might find fun, not everybody else will. And that is okay. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I know it's kind of different from my other stuff, but this just really irritated me and I felt like I should make a video on it. Now, if you want to see a video where I'm not complaining about something, check out my analysis on Uncharted 4, where I see how the gameplay and story mesh together to bring Nathan Drake's story to a definitive end. Anyways, that's about it. See ya.